Hello and welcome to Force for Thought. Today, Max is going rogue.
Max, what are you going rogue about?
Today, I am going rogue about Star Wars characters if they were musical artists.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it does. I'm really excited.
I mean, I'm glad that Matt is here for this. You were very clear that Matt had to be here for it. And
Yes,
this
Matt
is
is
a bit
going
out
to.
of my depths.
Matt is going to appreciate most of the jokes.
Is it just you listing off what characters would be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, we'll play along. It'll be a little interactive. I'll ask you, but
Are
I
we
do
going to
have.
start with that bounty hunter from
I do
Obi-Wan?
have the answers.
The answers.
So I will tell you if you're incorrect or not. We'll start with an obvious one: Luke Skywalker.
Ooh, that's a good one. You think it's obvious one?
Of course, it's
obvious-
obvious.
Give me a second. If
Yeah.
he was a musical instrument or a musical
Yeah.
artist?
Is he part of a
Artist.
band?
A group, artist. It could be a person. It could be a band.
That's a good question. So is
Probably Drake?
Oh, all right. I'm not going to ask you guys anymore.
he? Wait. Are you? So you're
I have
saying?
no idea what I was
Okay.
basing that off.
So you're saying an artist like as a musical group, not what instrument he would play.
Correct.
Okay, this is really interesting.
What instrument do you think Luke Skywalker
That's what I'm
would play?
saying because
Something dumb.
I think.
Cello.
See, I was going to say it depends what kind of band because in my mind he's a solid bass player.
I was going to say trombone in a ska band.
Oh, that's
No,
good.
that
seems
is
like the guy.
way cooler than Luke Skywalker ever has been.
Well,
Depends.
I'm glad that you don't think that Luke Skywalker is very cool because for Luke Skywalker, I said that he is the Beatles. He's the building block for all of Star Wars to come after it. He kind of starts as a sweet little farm boy. It becomes edgier as he grows. He is arguably the greatest of all time. You know, if someone says they're your favorite character, you can't really argue, but you also kind of think they're a little bit of a weenie. No
Yeah.
offense, Matthew.
You just
'cause
roll
the
your
Beatles
eyes and
is his
say,
favorite
okay, we
band.
can talk about something else.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly. You're like, okay.
It's true. The Beatles are the best band of all time. But yeah, that's great, Max. I don't know why I didn't say that off the top of my head.
But for context, then that would also presumably make Han Solo
It's not. You wouldn't say Rolling Stones.
the Rolling Stones. Absolutely.
Interesting.
It's a slightly edgier version of the Beatles, close competition with the Beatles. A lot of people would probably say they like Han more than Luke, but would acknowledge that Luke has more impact to the story and the overall universe after him.
Interesting. See, I disagree. I'm not. This is obviously you have the answers, but I don't think the Stones are edgier by any means either. I think they start off as a blues band, and I think they did the Beatles less good, and then they just try to rip off the Beatles. They have an album to rival Sgt. Pepper's called something satanic, whatever, and it's not nearly as good, and no one's ever heard of it. But what I would say is that Han Solo I think is like Led Zeppelin because they are funny. Most of their songs are also about like mountains and wizards and stuff too. So I feel like I just mean by that being like them being funny or Han Solo being pretty funny, and also he just is like thunderous, much like John Bonham's drums.
I don't know much about the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin for that
Mhm.
matter, but in my mind, the Beatles are the least edgy people in the world. They're like a step above the Wiggles on the edgy meter.
So you're really just thinking early Beatles.
I guess.
They
Yeah.
have the bowl cuts.
It's how I think of everyone from the 1960s, unless they were
Mhm.
intensely racist.
or on drugs.
No,
Like the
the
Beatles.
people on drugs, I mean, I guess that's a different kind of edgy, but they were all like chill. Like, I don't think people on drugs,
Okay.
especially in the 60s, were edgy. They were just like, that was the norm.
It depends. I don't know. So, could go into a whole other discussion, but as you know, I love the Beatles so much, and I think Ozzy Osbourne said it really well. I don't know if I told this. I feel like I just said this quote the other day, so it might have been to you guys. So if I have, please stop me. But Jack Osbourne, Ozzy's son, was like not a big fan of the Beatles, and he was talking about it. And Ozzy Osbourne was like, the best way I can describe it is if you lived through it. He's like, I went to bed one night in black and white, and when I heard the Beatles, I woke up in Technicolor. And I think that is the exact, especially during a World War II era, childhood. I think that in 1963, you just come out of that used to this World War II bombed era in the UK, and you hear the Beatles, you hear Twist and Shout, and it's like this whole new vibrance. Especially for that time,
The Beatles did
What?
Twist
What are you
and
laughing
Shout?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. When I don't know my music history, and I'm not a big real world history buff, especially not from the 1960s.
Mhm.
But when I think about people in the 1960s, it's either the hippies that were just walking around like Tommy Chong, like, oh, make love, not war, or the racist. Like,
I just,
Isn't that it? I know he's from that 70s show, is why I know him.
He is.
but-
That's more 70s. For that
Just
being
a
said,
weird reference.
but it's
I mean, that's what I'm saying. All
also-
my knowledge comes from that 70s show.
Yeah, I feel like you just combined 3 different things. I was like,
What's the third? Because I'm combining 60s and 70s because they're
60s,
pretty identical in
70s,
my
the
mind.
Music
fact
and
that Tom-
comedy.
Yes.
Tommy Chong isn't a musician.
yes,
No, I didn't. Did I say he was a musician?
no, but
No, it's
the-
just weird to hear him included in this conversation.
Yes, the piece,
Yeah.
the piece
You
of
got the
love
Beatles,
thing.
Rolling Stones, Tommy Chong.
How about
He's
Cheech
not a
Marin?
musician? I kind of always thought he was. What is he?
No, he's a comedian.
He's just an act.
Cheech and
comedian?
Chong were
Yeah.
a comedy duo.
Oh.
And that's a pretty loose term if you ever watch their movies. They are not very funny.
Yeah, old
This is-
movies aren't very funny.
This is why we had to pre-record this one with Matthew, because I knew that he would appreciate a lot more of them, and because I'm trying to also keep things like within a certain. I try to keep them within like a certain era, so the prequels and the sequels
Oh,
will be in like.
All right,
different
that's
eras
that's
and
good to know.
stuff.
That's good to know. I'm like
It's very loose though. It's not. You'll see. I don't stick to that very well at all. But the next one, C-3PO and R2-D2, the famous duo of
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Simon and
Oh,
Garfunkel.
I got one.
That's
a
good.
classic duo when they're together. Apart, not that great. And the people that like them are mostly our dads.
And Paul Simon is short, so presuming R2, and Art Garfunkel is very tall, presumably like C-3PO. I don't know why.
I didn't know
switched
that,
those up.
but I know that you are fascinated for some reason with celebrities' heights. So I take your word on that.
I am. I was just talking about heights today with some of my coworkers.
I fully believe this.
Because everyone thinks I'm shorter than I am on Zoom. So when I see them in person, they're like, "Oh,
you have
you're
your
tall."
camera pretty high up on a downward angle.
Kind of, because
You
my
just gotta give short guy energy, I think.
do I?
No, I'm kidding.
Because I was gonna say, because I also did a drawing of our friend Josh, who's also my coworker, and he's like she's like 5'8". I'm like above 6 foot, and it's like drawing. It's like, oh, it's pretty.
And when
I'm
we
like
did
the scale.
pictures for this podcast, I sat in the middle on a lower stool, so it looked like I was the shortest of the three of us.
And that would be correct.
Yeah, losing your hair didn't do you any favors. Also,
No, I lost like a good half inch with that alone. All right, stick with me for this next part. Jabba the Hutt, Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. He is a notorious gangster with a bit of a weight issue, and he was struck down in his prime. This is where it gets a little dicey, because that then makes Princess Leia Tupac. So I know that Tupac
did
technically,
Tupac kill Notorious B.I.G.?
yes, for all intents and purposes, Tupac died before Biggie. Biggie's people killed Tupac, and then Tupac's people killed Biggie.
Oh, their people did it.
Well, we don't know. I mean,
Alleged?
Tupac's people had to kill Biggie because Tupac was dead, but people believe that Biggie killed Tupac. It's a
But-
whole thing.
It's just conspiracy theories. Like people got away with it.
People got away with it. We still don't know, right?
Yeah, it was what's his name though?
Kind of like OJ. I guess this will date this
Suge
a
Knight.
little bit today. OJ just died today,
Yeah,
as of the time of recording this.
That's
right.
He officially got away with it.
Yep.
Good for him.
That
That's
means that O.J. Simpson is now the only person to know who actually killed what's her name, Nicole Brown.
Yep. The juice is not loose. Yeah, I feel, and I saw that today. I was like, I have no sympathy today. No, I could not care.
It was interesting in my office. Everyone was cracking jokes, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know we were there with this. This is nice."
Yeah.
even when I read that it was cancer, I was like, "Oh, cancer, that sucks." But like, oh well.
Yeah, I know. So I texted my dad. He's like, drug overdose? I was like, what? I was like, what? I was like, he was 76. What 76-year-old do you know that's doing hardcore drugs still? Because usually they're all dead by that point.
Maybe Tommy Chong is right now.
That's true.
Not hardcore
He
drugs.
did
He
go to-
smokes pot.
He did go to prison for, like, that's why he's not in a couple seasons of that 70s show. Because he went to jail
'Cause he was
for
in prison. Mm.
selling drugs.
That makes sense.
I think it was pot, though. And it was like 2004, so it's not legal in California or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
A lot more Tommy Chong conversation this episode than I was expecting.
Well, you're talking about history, and that's all the history I know.
Wait till we get to the 90s. Then we can talk about Spy Kids with Cheech, and then we can just naturally lead in.
Or I can talk about the Revolutionary War when we get to the Hamilton segment of whatever Star
Ooh.
Wars character represents them.
Oh, no, I don't get close to touching upon that. I also don't have Led Zeppelin anywhere on here, so I'll accept Led Zeppelin for Han Solo.
All right.
Make one of them a Star Wars story Han Solo, and one of them
Oh, that's good.
original trilogy Han Solo.
All right, Alden Ehrenreich will be the Led Zeppelin version.
All right, that sounds good.
little younger, a little more, rock and roll to him.
Yeah. One little fact about Biggie is that out in LA, my office, he died on the corner of where my office is at.
Really?
Yep, on the corner of Fairfax and Wilshire,
He
Crazy.
was like shot by Tupac's people.
supposedly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just right outside the Peterson Automotive Museum as well. So
Yeah, they were both gunned down due to gang violence.
All right.
Much like how Jabba was taken before his time
Yes.
because one of his slaves had some uprising. It's a shame. All right. Justin Timberlake.
Interesting.
Luke, care to offer a guess? Correct. It's Justin Timberlake. He is an enjoyable fuzzball across all eras.
Wait.
He can.
Wait, did you say Justin Timberlake the first time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Justin Timberlake.
All right.
Justin Timberlake is who?
Who is Justin Timberlake?
I
Oh,
mean-
Chewbacca. Chewbacca.
Yes.
Okay, you never said Chewbacca.
You never said Chewbacca because I'm just like, wait, Justin Timberlake is Justin Timberlake.
Oh, I said Justin Timberlake before
You
I said
said Justin
Chewbacca.
Timberlake every time.
Fuck. I'm gonna have to edit
Well,
that.
yeah, we'll fix it in post.
Chewbacca is Justin Timberlake.
I totally would have guessed that.
I know you would have too. That's why I had to step in quick because I was like, surely he knows.
For some reason, I was like, wait, did we interpret the game wrong?
Chewbacca is Justin Timberlake. He is enjoyable across all eras. He can definitely hold his own, but is part of an ensemble, and you definitely want him with an ensemble. If someone was like, would you rather see NSYNC or Justin Timberlake? You're like, I want to see NSYNC.
And he also paid for Britney Spears to have an abortion, so.
Yeah, that's a pretty new revelation.
I don't think Chewbacca would do that.
No, that's what I meant. It's Chewbacca.
I need to now think about some other things on this list.
Uh-oh.
See how that implicates things.
I don't know. That's interesting.
But that does make Chewbacca's family from the Star Wars Holiday Special in sync, but without Justin Timberlake.
That's really funny.
I could
Under
see that.
no situation do you want to see it. It's
You-
like, hey, do you want to come to the state fair? They're in sync is performing without Justin Timberlake, but like we can get some fried
Where's
Oreos or
CJ?
something.
Is CJ Shavaz there?
Yeah, and you're just like, no, I'm good.
Who would Joey Fatone be? Lumpy? It has to be Lumpy, right? Name
I kind
alone.
of see him being the crazy grandpa.
No, the
What was
fourth,
his name?
the fourth one that I don't know the name of. What are the 5 NSYNC members? Because I know 4 of their names.
Joey, JC, Chris, and
Lance.
Lance.
Chris or Lance. One of them was like the lead in NSYNC. Which one was that?
Justin Timberlake.
Timberlake.
No.
CJ
There was-
Chavez.
I
or
feel like
whatever.
Lance is the second most famous one.
He
It is
was-
weird that I didn't
But,
say him.
CJ. It's CJ, right? Am I saying that right? It is, right?
No,
Lance,
I think it's JC.
It's JC.
Lance was then like the taller, skinnier one.
No,
Yeah.
that's JC. Because
No,
well,
that's-
JC was.
Oh, yeah,
he's
he
the
was tall
one.
and skinny as
He
well.
was like
They're a
one.
boy band. They're all tall and
Yes,
skinny.
but JC was the one in the middle of the album cover of like the first album, and he was clearly supposed to be the
Yeah,
guy.
that's
but
what I'm
then Justin
thinking.
Timberlake was actually the guy.
Because everyone was like, who's this curly haired one? He's not going to do
Yes,
anything.
which is funny. The same thing happened with One Direction. It was like, oh, Liam Payne, and then it was like, no, Harry Styles actually.
Yeah.
Very funny.
They're like,
So
we need
what-
this guy for the talent, but he's not actually going to accomplish anything.
Yes.
We'll make this guy the face.
So he was the face. Just
For the first-
to be clear
for
on
the first
everyone saying I
couple-
was so wildly wrong. For the first couple of albums.
No, couple months.
Oh, a couple
until
months.
everyone realized
Until
this
they
guy's
listened.
better. Yes.
It was like in the pictures only.
That's how I get my information about this, though.
Pictures?
Yeah, I don't know
Alright.
anything about NSYNC other than the pictures on the album covers and the Bye 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 the music video.
Hmm.
Other than that, I know nothing.
Also, great explanation. With you, at first, I was like, Chewbacca is Justin Timberlake. There's got to be somebody better. But then you really sold me with the family. That was great.
A lot of these are jokes, but they make sense. I promise.
It
There
is,
is.
yeah.
I put a lot of logic into this, such as this next one: Darth Vader / Anakin. You want to offer a guess?
Oh, he said Slash. Might be
Ooh.
Guns N' Roses.
Slash.
I know you're not gonna blow Taylor Swift here, but eras seems they're definitely that character definitely has different eras. Is it Taylor Swift?
It is Taylor Swift.
Oh,
I said Darth
nice.
Vader / Anakin
The
is
goat,
the
of
goat.
course.
All like you said, different eras: original trilogy, then prequels, then Clone Wars, then Rogue One, then Kenobi, then Ahsoka, and in every single one, people are like, "This dude just can't miss." And you see him in all sorts of different things. Taylor Swift, all sorts of different genres. She can't miss.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
true.
Apt analysis, Maxwell.
How much are you loving this new Dead Poets Society album?
Dead.
Or Tortured
Tortured
Poets Department.
Is it
Did
out?
I say Dead Poets Society?
Yes.
That's like the
I
Is it out?
as of this
As of this
release?
airing.
Oh man.
Isn't it great
I bet
so
I'm
far
loving
though?
it.
Yeah, we're loving it.
I bet I'm loving it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. And then Emperor Palpatine. Here's where things get a little dicey. Michael Jackson. So
Oh no.
another
Yep.
classic. We love him in the original trilogy, love him in the prequel trilogy, but unfortunately, there was too much content involving them that came out after they died, and that kind of left us with a bad taste in our mouth. And now we have a complicated relationship with him.
That's hilarious, Max. I mean, that is you couldn't pick anybody better.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Ooh.
This one makes the most sense in my opinion.
All right, give us a second because I feel like Boba Fett's got to
It's
be.
got to be an instrumentalist that doesn't talk or something.
Interesting.
Like,
I was just gonna say the coolest person, the coolest band.
You guys are both, you guys are both right on the money.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, so it's not Kenny G.
I have to tell you what it is now, though.
Who are the people from?
Say
all
it.
right, I'm thinking Penn and Teller, the magicians, something like that, but a music
Look,
variety.
there's
Simon
comedians and his
Garfunkel.
magicians, but he doesn't know musicians. He's hitting all around it.
Oh, Justin Williamson.
Andre 3000. Andre 3000.
that
I mean,
is-
wait. What do you mean? He's just play an instrument though? He's a
Yes.
rapper.
This is why, because when Andre 3000 came onto the scene in Outkast, he came onto the scene in a huge way. He was a big
Oh,
name.
he's the guy from
Yeah.
Outcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know them, or I
Um,
know that one song.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. But yeah, he's great. And he hasn't done anything in years. The guy was just dormant, and he had like a highly anticipated album, and people were waiting and waiting and waiting, and it just came out like late last year, and people listened to it, and it's just him playing the flute. It's all flute. There is no rapping.
Really?
There is no words.
Oh yeah.
And people were just like, what the fuck? Like, and
Yeah.
people were just like, I mean, it's Andre 3000. Like, they have enough respect for him that they're like, all right, bro, we'll let you do your thing. But like, this was a massive disappointment. We were really hoping for something big
Yes,
here.
That is not quite the same as the Book of Boba Fett.
It
It's
has a
definitely-
lot of
that's pretty
It
parallels.
close.
has some parallels, but the Book of Boba Fett was a good show, and it was a TV show, which it sounds like this was barely even music.
It had a really good character.
That's hilarious. I completely forgot about that. Man, that's not good. Yeah. Been listening to a lot of Outkast lately, actually.
You haven't been listening to the flute album?
Have not been listening to the flute album, no.
All right. This next part's kind of a stretch, so stick with me for a second.
We've been on this ride with you so far and we're loving it.
The Death Star. The Death Star
Mhm.
is Genesis with Peter Gabriel.
Okay. not Phil Collins.
Death Star 2,
The second Death Star.
the second Death Star is Genesis with Phil Collins.
That's hilarious, Max.
So I don't know the difference between Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins, but more powerful, less complete, and well, they both kind of failed really early and spectacularly. But
Well, okay, and then in that sense, no. But
It's
the
the
other things
other
that you
way,
said
yes.
are pretty spot on. But then it keeps going. Star Killer Bass. That is just Phil Collins, but just his solo stuff, excluding the Tarzan soundtrack. And then
that's the only Phil Collins stuff I know.
the Petronaki Arena is just the Tarzan soundtrack. It is literally incomparable to everything else that came before it. You don't even know how it got to this point, but just everything about it is just absolutely incredible.
That's hilarious.
Banger after banger.
I do really like the Tarzan soundtrack.
It's great.
And don't you love everything at the Petronaki Arena
Yeah.
on Geonosis?
I do,
Um,
especially Poggle the Lesser's dialogue. He doesn't get enough.
are you bringing this up just
Praise.
so you can do your spot on impression?
No, I don't. I'm not even gonna do it.
You
It's
can
just-
do, you can do a
yeah,
really good
it's,
impression.
It's cool. It's cool alien dialect. I'll
Mm.
save it for later.
What does it
No,
sound like?
I don't want to be like I was teeing myself up to impress the audience now.
All right, let me do it. What's your impression? The best impression you can do on a Star Wars character?
The best one I can do of any Star Wars character? I don't know. Probably Luke Skywalker saying something whiny. But I was going to go to Taji Station to pick up some power converters.
I said
Mine's
she ought
very
to
close.
do the other
Mine's,
one.
mine's Aunt Beru.
Luke!
All right, moving on. Where am I? Oh, Lando. Lando is Snoop Dogg. Not
I
because
see that one.
Not because he's black, but because Snoop Dogg is known for having a very smooth flow and he's very suave, just like Lando Calrissian. Lando is the Snoop Dogg of or Snoop Dogg is the Lando of rap.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the actor that plays Lando also have a prolific music career?
Childish
One of them
Gambino.
does, yes.
Oh, not Billy D. Williams, who just recently said that actors should be able to do blackface. Did you guys see that?
What?
If you guys, oh man,
I thought I saw
Give him
that.
credit.
yeah.
He doesn't know what he's saying. He's
The-
96 years
the
old.
one article I didn't send you guys that related to Star Wars semi. I can't believe it.
But you sent us all this other stupid shit.
That's true.
All right, starting to dip my toes here into the prequel trilogy. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Prequel era Obi-Wan?
Ooh,
Prequel era Obi-Wan.
So we're going
What-
now in the
what-
90s, presumably.
It's starting to enter, yeah, a little more.
What movie in the prequels? Because Obi-Wan is pretty different from 1 to 2 to 3.
Oh, that's good. You know, as you debate that, Max, I'm just gonna say and there's no way that this is the person that you're thinking, the band you're thinking of, but Obi-Wan Kenobi in Phantom Menace is very much like Third Eye Blind, because there hasn't been a bad boy in rock and roll for a very long time, and then here comes Third Eye Blind, and I don't remember the singer's name, but he was like the hot guy in the 90s that brought back rock and roll after dirty grunge era. So anyway.
Well, that's not
Phantom
what I
Menace.
had. So
That's
it
what
is
I
wrong,
figured.
but I
Who'd you have?
respect it. No, it's the Foo Fighters.
Max, that's a great.
Universally loved.
Yeah.
Everyone likes the Foo Fighters. You've never heard anyone be like, here's a hot take. I really like the Foo Fighters. Like,
Yep. Qui-Gon Jinn
no
is like
shit.
Kurt Cobain.
no, Qui-Gon Jinn is like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Also very universally agreeable, but just like a little more hippy-dippy.
I just meant because he dies, Kurt Cobain
Oh,
dies.
okay,
Yeah,
Matthew.
I don't know.
You really don't need to
Oh,
go there, all right?
I thought Kurt Cobain was going to teach the Foo Fighters.
No, Foo Fighters, the front man is Dave Grohl, who was the drummer for Nirvana,
Ah,
which
Well,
was Kurt
You're
Cobain's
learning
band.
so
a
much
lot of
today.
double dipping. Yeah. Are they even
Um,
allowed to do that? Aren't they in competition? Don't they sign non-compete clauses or something?
Bands?
I was like, what?
I'm sure they don't. All right, this one goes back a little bit again, but Darth Maul. This one, I was really debating between a couple things, but I ended up going with Queen. They're
Okay.
a classic. Again, everyone loves them, and they're known for experimenting with a certain operatic type of music. When you think
Oh,
of Queen,
yeah.
you think of the operatic section of Bohemian
That's true.
Rhapsody. And when you see Darth Maul, that just pops into your head.
Yeah, Duel
Not
of Fates.
Bohemian Rhapsody, but
It will
Duel of the
now.
Fates.
If we can edit that scene with Bohemian Rhapsody
I'm
playing.
looking forward to receiving that text at 2 a.m. this morning. I couldn't stop sleeping until I did it. I couldn't get to sleep. Whatever.
We're off to a great start today.
All right.
That was great, Max. I'm trying to think of. I feel like there's a good argument to having it to Darth Maul be any sort of person who was cut down in their prime as well, much like Jabba the Hutt and Biggie.
I was
I'm
thinking
trying to
about
think of
like Pantera, like something like dark and heavy, which is
Mhm.
why I was thinking
Oh,
like metal,
Pantera's
maybe
good.
like Slipknot, but
Mhm.
Pantera, Dimebag Darrell did
Yep.
die before his prime,
who
so
in Columbus.
died in his prime, I would say. I'm not a big Pantera fan though, so I'm not gonna give Darth Maul the honors.
Yeah, I
Saying
recently
that they
also
died
got into.
before their prime is kind of an unfair praise. How do you know?
That's true. Also, Pantera was big in like the 90s, and he died in like 2007. Still young, obviously, but
Oh, really?
yes,
Oh, I thought it was like really early on in the
I think they had like
in the
5
band
albums.
career. Oh, interesting.
And then his brother just
with
died
him
too.
all on it.
Vinny. Yeah.
Did they keep going after him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on. Padme Amidala.
Pink.
Ooh. Oh, that's a
Pink?
great.
Is it?
It's not, but damn,
That's a good one,
That's
Luke.
good, actually.
Thanks.
Uh,
Girl, like Taylor Swift, but a little bit edgier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What was your?
Pink's not edgier, or the Padme's
Are you gonna
not
go to her
edgier than
concert?
Anakin.
She's Pink's
Pink
coming.
concert?
Yeah, she's coming to Columbus soon.
I do actually really like Pink.
I think I'm gonna
but
take my
no,
mom.
not. I don't go to
Does
many
your mom like
concerts.
Pink?
She loves Pink. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I would not have known that.
Yeah. My mom loves music. Yeah. Blast.
No, I said Britney Spears. You don't mind her debut, but you definitely focus on her later stuff because you feel weird about how young she was at first.
It is every time a young Britney
No,
Spears
that is
song.
not true with Padme because you don't feel weird about how young she was.
Yeah, she was
'cause
like 16 years old.
but she wasn't sexualized in The Phantom Menace, so it was fine. If she was as sexualized as she was in episode 2, or as
That's fair.
pregnant and useless as she was in episode 3, I would have felt weird about her being young.
This is the man whose wife is currently carrying his child.
I'm not saying that pregnant people are useless. I'm saying that George Lucas had a character that's either, if it's a girl, she's either sexualized or too young to be sexualized or used up and pregnant.
Or Jyn Erso, which is not George Lucas, but
It's not George Lucas, yeah.
Oh, I don't have Jin on here. I should have done. Okay. Jar Jar Binks.
ooh, Weird Al.
Oh, that's a good one too. No, it's not. Kind of a similar vein though.
John Cheese.
Yeah,
John.
okay, you're getting farther away. Smash Mouth.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Just kind of like a wacky, zany band kind of came onto the scene. They were
Yep.
Scott first. And it's kind of a one-hit wonder. You know, everyone just knows them for All Star.
They had some other hits.
I mean, you and I think so, yes, but the average person, those are considered deep cuts.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
I'm pretty sure they only have one song. You know? Actually, didn't they have 2 in Shrek? Was it just All Star in Shrek?
No, they had a different. They had
A
a
couple songs sounded.
Also,
the
isn't
same.
Accidentally in Love from the Shrek soundtrack by the Counting Crows?
Yeah, that's Shrek. Yeah,
That's a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Unbelievable how we don't do soundtracks like that
I think
anymore.
that's Shrek 2. But
Like I said, maybe they do it like Trolls. I just have no interest in those.
Trolls. But for Trolls, they re-record the songs, don't they? Because they re-recorded that Billy Joel song. I'm still stand. Or no, what am I thinking? I was thinking of Sing.
Yeah, so that's Elton John.
Elton John. What did I say? Billy Joel.
Yeah.
That's not right.
They're the same in my mind too.
Thank you.
Pianos.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Old, probably.
Damn it, Luke.
And old, yes. I believe they're both white.
That's true.
I hear them in the same conversations often.
Pianos, that's why.
Mace Windu. I also had a Snoop Dogg, but because
I'm seeing a pattern.
because Mace Windu is known for a color. He's known for purple, which is similar to blue. And Snoop Dogg is a Crip, as everybody knows, and he always has blue. So
I feel like he could be Jay-Z. He's a little harder. He sold a lot of drugs. He ends up going to the top.
Who's the guy that
but
beat the
didn't
hell out of Rihanna? That's my vote for Mace Windu.
Chris
Chris
Brown?
Brown.
Yeah.
but Jay-Z
Gave
cheated
Mace
on
Windu to Chris
Beyonce.
Brown.
That's true. That's more of a Kiadi Mundi, I feel like, it's Chris Brown.
As we all know,
Hmm.
Snoop Dogg has never done anything wrong in his life. So
That's true.
Kiadi Mundi. All right.
Oh,
Luke,
here we
you'll
are.
appreciate this one. Kiadi Mundi, he's just like a generic smug political podcast like Pod Save America.
Interesting.
Just like something that you're like, ugh, God.
I was going to say he'd be like Mickey Avalon because of the song My Dick. I feel like he would relate to that song.
He calls it my head.
My-
All right. Let's dip our toes into the sequel trilogy era a little bit here. Starting with Ray.
Okay. I'm trying to think of somebody who
I
would.
got nothing.
Well, let me tell you then. Ray is Nickelback. All right.
Okay. interesting.
Financially, absolutely a success. You listen to the stuff and you're like, this is pretty good. I actually kind of like this, but everyone just likes to shit on him for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I like Nickelback fucks. I don't care.
Everyone likes Nickelback. They
Everyone
just want
does
to
like
admit it.
Nickelback.
And
Listen to
that's-
their music.
That's
It's
kind
good
of like
music.
Ray. Most people admit it. There is a very vocal part of the internet that won't admit it. That takes the.
It's just a meme.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
The
just
first
a
two
meme.
albums are legitimately very good.
Finn is Snoop Dogg. Poe, I said, is Sublime. And here's why.
Yo, that makes sense.
Because a lot of people don't like the sequels, but everyone likes Poe, right? And that's how I feel with Sublime, because people who even don't like
It's not
reggae.
that a lot of people don't like the sequels. It's that a very vocal portion of the internet doesn't
Yes,
like the
that's true.
sequels.
It's the same thing with reggae, is what I'm getting at. Because even if you don't like reggae, you're like, oh, but I like Sublime. Like, even if you don't know reggae.
the music genre, not the fan theory.
The
Ray
ca-
being gay.
yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I think they call that Gay Ray anyway.
But that's what
I am more involved with the Gay Ray fan community than I am with the reggae fan community. I
I'm more in
guess.
the reggae community, so it's
Yeah.
good to know.
I
Our
don't-
paths are crossing each other, but
I don't even think
they're passing each other, but never crossing.
I don't even think Gay Ray is a thing because I know Wolf Wren is with Shinhati and Sabine Wren.
that had to be
But when you
coined by
said
you.
reggae, that's what I was thinking. But I don't know why. Because who would they even ship her with? Rose? No, that's probably not a thing.
Do they even share a scene?
Wow, it would have to be in The Rise of Skywalker, and
And there's a fat chance that's happening in that movie.
yeah,
I feel like too.
barely. It would just be in the very beginning when when Finn says to Rose, "Oh, you sure you don't want to come?" And she says, "Yeah, I'm sure. Bye."
She shares a scene with Leia, but no one really wants that.
No,
No one was shipping
no,
that.
I would not like that. All right, I take it back. Reggae is just the music genre.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Poe Dameron.
makes sense. And BB-8 is very much like Brad Newell's dog.
I've seen a lot of
Oh my
gay
gosh,
Poe.
that's such a great yeah.
People really wanted Finn and Poe to be gay together.
Yeah,
I feel like I remember seeing that. Now I'm just trying to think of the name of his dog. Oh my
oh,
god.
I don't know.
Whose dog?
Brad
Carrie
Newell.
Bradley Knoll from Sublime. They say it in like all their songs, don't they?
I
I
thought
don't know.
you were talking about
I can't
Carrie-
remember. I don't know.
Carrie Fisher's dog, Gary Fisher.
Someone Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Someone very specific is listening to this podcast right now shouting it and I can't hear you. I'm
and it's
sorry.
probably us.
Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. I don't want to Google it because I'm in the middle of something. Kylo Ren.
Okay, I'm thinking
That sounds grungy.
Some
yeah.
grungy dark metal, maybe. Ooh, I don't know. Just tell us. I'm excited.
My Chemical Romance.
Oh, that's even better one, Max. That I couldn't even thought of. They're moody. Yes.
Yes, moody, but
Yeah.
amazing. Everyone
Yeah.
loves them, right?
Do they
also,
sing My Bloody Valentine?
No, I think that's Good Charlotte.
Mm.
Yes.
I
Or-
could also see Good Charlotte then. It is
Maybe.
Good Charlotte.
It
I
is,
have a Good
okay.
Charlotte CD.
Good Charlotte.
I was about to say, I
rules.
think there's also a song called Bloody Valentine by Bullets for My Valentine, but I'm sure that's not who you're
Bull for
thinking
Valentine.
of.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's what was came to my head too. But Good Charlotte's not emo though. That's the problem.
Aren't they?
They're like pop. They're too pop punk. I think.
Hmm.
Good Charlotte is
Mhm.
pop punk. They kind of tried to be a little emo with The River and that album.
Yes.
Good Morning Revival or whatever
Yes,
it was
and
called.
it's called Good Morning Revival. Yeah.
I'm a closeted Good Charlotte fan.
Me too.
Uh,
Young and the Hopeless is great. It's one of my favorite albums.
yeah, it's a fantastic album.
Yeah.
Luke listened to that album like 100 times on a trip one time.
Which album?
Lifestyles Works to the Famous.
Well, Lifestyle.
The Anthem.
No, what's it
Young
called?
and Hopeless. Young and Hopeless.
What's the album called?
It's Young and Hopeless.
The what?
Young and Hopeless.
Young and Hopeless. That is the album that I listened to because I was trying to do that thing that I like to do, where if you listen to
yes.
just one album for an entire trip, then you'll associate with it, and it worked pretty well because I only
Oh, yeah.
hear those songs very infrequently when I still think about that trip.
Nice.
All right. This next one kind of hurts me a little bit personally, but for Supreme Leader Snoke, I said he is Real Big Fish. Really any ska band would do though, because he really just lit the world on fire for like very short amount of years. People absolutely loved it, and then
Yep.
he died halfway through the second movie, and like no one looked back since. Everyone's just like, all right, that's done. We're forgetting that ever happened apparently, and it's a shame because there's some good stuff in there.
But then we also get hints that it continues on, like in Rise of Skywalker, where we see all of his corpses, which is like much like their new albums.
Yes, that no one actually listens to.
Yeah, Ska Show's a great song though.
Is that by Real Big Fish?
Mhm. You
Yeah.
know it.
Ska Show?
Yeah.
I would need a
It
refresher.
came out a couple years ago. It's really good.
A couple years ago.
Pick up that
Yeah.
bass and play it for us.
I don't know if I know recent Real Big Fish. So I guess I'm a hypocrite. But yeah, Real Big Fish. Ahsoka.
Ooh, all right. So
I don't
it's
quite
got-
remember a lot of the reasoning for this one. I said Ahsoka is Olivia Rodrigo. I think that was mostly just because she's like passing on the baton to the next generation. Like Ahsoka's for the kids.
She's
right?
the young
Like,
person's Jedi.
Yeah, like she's new Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm for it.
I can see
Olivia
that.
Rodrigo is like the new pop music. She's
Do
the
I
big
feel-
up and coming. Like everyone's like, oh, okay, this is like where pop music's going.
Do I feel like Sabine Wren is more like Olivia Rodrigo, or as I call her, Liv Rod? Yes, I do.
Because she's
she's
a little
mul-
more.
She's a little more punky. She's multi-talented. She can play instruments.
That's
She
good.
can sing.
I
But
take that back. This is Sabine Wren we're talking about.
all right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 1,000%
perfect.
agree. Love that.
All right, these last couple ones are.
I feel like Ahsoka's-
What does Liv
Can't-
Rod play? She plays a lot of instruments.
Guitar and piano.
Mm.
I also feel like Ahsoka could be Kenny G.
Does she play them on her albums?
I believe so. Yeah.
Like she records all of the guitar and all of the piano.
I don't know about all of them, but I know she plays. She did a great rendition on SNL of an acoustic version. A Vampire is great. I don't even like that song that much.
I don't even know that one.
I love Liv Rod.
You know Vampire.
Do I?
That's the one
Probably.
I know. Yeah, that's the really famous one.
Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe if I heard it, I would recognize it. Okay. Dedra Miro. These next ones get pretty obscure.
Okay, that's the Imperial from Andor.
Dedra Miro is like your friend's cousin band that your friend constantly talks about, but when you ask them what kind of music they play, they're like, well, they don't really have a genre. And you're just like, all right, dude. whatever."
Tropodelic. All right, perfect.
No, Tropodelic has a genre. Absolutely. Pop reggae is what I would call it now with their recent stuff.
Pop
That's how they used
reggae
to be
with-
a little more punky, but now they're going more in the pop vein.
Yeah. Punk reggae with a hint of metal guitars and they don't really have a genre.
They're very multifaceted.
Yeah.
But they have a genre. Listen to Tropodelic. They're a
Yeah.
very good band.
Listen to Tropodelic. They're great.
I sometimes wear a hat that says Trop. That's what that is. All right. The Bad Batch. I said the Bad Batch is Leonard Skinnerd, a great group, but
oh,
yeah, you get it, right?
Did one of them die?
Yeah.
well, a
Oh,
lot of them did in a plane crash.
I am not caught up on Bad Batch.
No,
Oh,
Leonard Skinner.
okay.
Oh, that's true. I don't know how this is gonna age by the time this airs, but we are still working our way through the newest season. No, Leonard Skinner, like in the 70s, early 80s, there was a plane crash with them, and not all of them died, but their
No.
lead singer did.
Is that the day the music died from that Anakin guy spin-off song?
Anakin- American Pie
Yeah.
by Don, what's his name?
I don't know. I
Don
always-
McLean.
Yes, I was supposed to say Don Henley, but that's not correct.
I don't think that's what it is. I think he's talking about Elvis, isn't he?
No. Well,
When
I
did
guess-
that song come out?
We
that song
had this
came out
discussion,
in the
didn't we?
70s.
Yeah, it did.
We did, and I'm pretty
In
sure
the
you guys
Star
said
Wars
it wasn't
episode.
about that, and I
Yeah.
sounded stupid. But
No,
I remember
because-
hearing that it was.
Because then I swear you texted us later that day. You're like, you fuckers, it was that.
Oh yeah.
but I still don't remember. So neither
No,
do-
it was a plane crash. It wasn't Elvis. It was a plane crash where about a lot of famous musicians died.
Was
Is it that one?
Okay. It
I
might have
want to
Buddy
say
Holly?
Buddy Holly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that same one? Was he in Leonard
it could have
Skinner?
been that one.
no,
But he
Buddy
died in
Holly
the same
was
plane
just-
crash with them?
no. He just died in a plane crash.
With other musicians?
Yeah, his band
So there was a Leonard Skinner plane crash and a Buddy Holly's band plane crash?
and John Denver.
I was about to say there's
And
multiple.
they were all different plane crashes.
Yeah.
I thought there was one plane crash that like took out a fell swoop of them. No?
They didn't have like the full.
That surely would be the day the music died, though. That would be
They
crazy.
wrote a song about it.
It wasn't like Live Aid. They're
and
all
it
like,
got
let's take
turned
the
into a
same
really
plane.
good Star Wars song. Live Aid. They're all on the same plane for life.
We're talking Queen. We're talking Bowie. We're talking Elton John.
It's like having the only people who know the secret to Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They can't be in the same room together.
And now we just have Tab.
Where was I? Oh, the mods / the Vespa gang from the Book of Boba Fett.
Ooh.
Oh, and
I'm-
we know how much Max hates the Book of Boba
I'm gonna
Fett.
guess the chain smokers.
I'm gonna guess it's the band that beat you in Battle of the Bands in high school.
No,
I think that's your most hated band in the world.
Phalanx. Yeah, they're up there. Those guys are a bunch of fuckers. I don't hold a grudge. I don't even know if that's their name. I don't know. I forgot about it. That was 15 years ago.
You don't know where they currently live.
Dislikes every YouTube video to this day.
Still comments, even though it's 15 years old. The YouTube videos. You guys still suck.
Oh, I've lost it. No, they are the cast from Glee. Technically proficient and talented, but you do just want to punch every single one of them in the face.
That's hilarious. That's true. That's good.
All right, now we start to get into a little more theoretical, more of
Okay.
making the music, the creators of Star Wars, starting with Dave Filoni. Just a G major chord.
Oh, you're talking about the actual chords.
All right, now we're talking. I could see that. Yeah.
Every time you hear it, you're just like, oh, that's a nice chord. If you see someone pick up an acoustic guitar and they strum that G, you're like, oh, this could be almost anything.
Is
I'm
it,
got
excited.
depth.
is it gonna resolve to C on George Lucas?
I'll say yes because I didn't have that, but that makes a lot of sense.
I-
We'll say George Lucas C major.
I was gonna say George Lucas could be Phil Spector, the guy who actually makes music. Phil Spector is
The producer for
he's a
he
huge
wasn't the
producer.
Beatles, was he?
No, John Lennon and stuff. He did do some Beatles stuff.
Did he? Okay.
So Phil Spector, huge renowned musician, producer and stuff, and has brought up a lot of people, made a lot of people, and
Who
then
played him in Straight Outta Compton?
decided to murder somebody halfway through and just destroy his career.
was that one Ice Cube's son?
Yes, that was Ice Cube's son. Good old O'Shea.
Yeah, you know his name. That was Roland in Kenobi.
That's right. He's in Star Wars too.
Roken.
No, I was just kidding because his son obviously played Ice Cube in the movie. All right, so Dave Filoni, G major.
Sure.
George Lucas, C major. John Williams, D minor. Oh boy, does that put you in
That's
your
a
feels?
fun one. Yeah, that's a
It's-
fun chord.
The most emotional of all chords. It makes you feel sad, just like John Williams with his recent passing.
Get the fuck out of here.
Full disclosure, as of recording, he hasn't passed away yet, but this is coming out in a couple months, so we're just playing
Oh
the
my
odds.
God. What if he dies under suspicious circumstances? You could be putting a target on our backs.
This podcast is immediately investigated.
We're gonna get a lot of views though, so that's
I've proposed the idea of doing in memoriams a little early for Billy D. Williams and John Williams, but they
after
the rest of this
blackface thing,
podcast
I
has
guess,
pushed
I
back
don't know.
pretty seriously on that. They think it's in poor taste.
It's nice
We-
to have a 3-person podcast so we can have a very clear
the
voting
line.
system. Yes.
I'm
And it's usually me and you versus Max for some reason.
just saying, no one lives forever.
We have been pre-recording a lot of stuff, and we're definitely going to do an episode when a major Star Wars actor dies. Although, I mean, probably not even.
We're gonna have to also cite some other relevant recent news so that people know that we're recording it at the time and not pre-recording.
Or we just take a risk on that too. Like, rest in peace, John Williams, and oh well to Google going out of business.
Yeah. And the fact that they never found Kate Middleton, that was crazy, huh? Okay, and then this is the last one that I had, Kathleen Kennedy. I just said she's a diminished 7th chord. It has its place in the progression, but like when you hear it, you're just like, I don't like it. Like you're like, resolve back to the G, resolve back to the G, you know?
I was gonna say she's
So-
a solid E string.
just a single string.
No one's favorite.
But she has a
An
place.
important part
She
of the
has-
guitar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and every major scale does have a diminished chord. So it's like you're a part of it, but like let's get to the G and the
Let's get
C and the
C.
D minor. That's a good song.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is everything that I had. But
Do you think Doug Chang would just be the opener for any band?
just whatever it is.
Yes. I feel like Doug Chang is very important, but I just
Get your
every
foot in
single
the door.
every
What if-
single time I see him on screen when he's talking, it's just like he's such an ass kisser for George Lucas, and I'm like big fan of Doug Chang. But it's
Great way to open up for him.
yes,
That's funny. My favorite band opener story is a show that I wasn't even at. I think it was Luke's. That you told me. You went to a concert one time and there was a band opening called the Jeff Goldblum Tribute Band. And they were like, hey, we
Oh,
want to
yeah.
dedicate this next song to Jeff Goldblum. Are you out there? Where are you at? And like the lights came on and people were looking around. And then they were like, okay, he didn't come to this one either. Well, we invite him to every one, but he's never showed up. So one of these days he will. And everyone was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was mine. Concert I went to. I forgot all about that. That was funny.
Or the Glow Pop Jiggly Jams, also a great opener. I hear they haven't done anything in about 10 years, but you know what? I think they're on Spotify. You
that's
can check
true.
them out.
I heard they were supposed to come back in 2023, but never did.
No, we're pushing that back. They're pushing that back, whoever they are.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring ska back to the working class, I believe was their motto.
Yes. Which was
Or to the working man.
which
That was what Chris said.
which also after you tarnished Real Big Fifth with Snoke, I don't know if that's
It
do
was
yourself
an
any
honor. It was a great. They set the world on fire.
they
Everyone
did.
wanted to know more.
They're in basketball. That's
And
the
then about-
second best basketball reference during this
Basketball.
podcast.
Oh god. Okay. Well, anyway, so let us know. Let us know what you think. If there are any other characters that I missed, like Yoda, because I couldn't come up with one for Yoda for the longest time, so I didn't include him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was gonna
He
say
would
the
have,
Village People, but I didn't know why.
he'd have to be
um,
like Beethoven or Bach or something.
Just something beyond its years.
Mhm.
Just like, yeah, like yeah, you are still kind of puttering around, aren't you? The music, not the person. I understand they're
Yes.
dead. But anyway, let us know what you think. Let us know if there's any musical artists or Star Wars characters that you thought were omitted that we should be including.
Like Newt Gunray being part of BTS, maybe because of his racist accent.
Are they a K-pop band?
Yeah,
Or Watto being Kiss.
because they're Jewish.
Yeah.
All right,
That's the exact same joke. Don't
I'm just making
look
sure
at me
we're
like
on
that
the
one was
same
off
page.
color.
Making sure we're on the same page.
All
Luke,
right.
you got a good one we can throw in there?
No. Sorry.
All right, well, let us know. You can reach out to us across social media, and you can email us at forceforthought@gmail.com.
See you, Sammy.
One of these days, I'm going to say something at the end, too, after you say see ya, Sammy. It's going to throw everyone off.
I'm trying to think of who Shmi would be.
Elvis's mom.
Elvis's mom. Yeah,
Florence
that's
and the
hilarious.
Machine.
Florence and the Machine rules, though.
So does me.
Yeah, what are you saying about
No.
Shmi?
Shmi is Elvis's mom. That's hilarious.